guys, this is part 2 of our bug out bag series, and today we're going to be covering constructing your list as well as modularizing your bag. Okay, so I decided to do this outside so we can get a little bit more room and spread out some gear. First thing we're going to go over is list construction. So when you're first building out your bug out bag list, obviously we're going to do this in a couple of different parts so that we've got it completely fleshed out. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a long list of non-specific items. So try and flesh out your full bug out bag list in non-specific items. So instead of a particular brand and model, just start off with a stove. Just start off with food, your sleeping gear, tent, hammock, whatever you plan on using. So we're going to have it as one long list, and we're going to start going over that. Review that list multiple times. Take a break. Let it sit for a couple of days. Let it marinate. Come back and look at it. Make sure that you have everything fleshed out, that you have a full and comprehensive list. Okay? This is a no-brainer. For putting that list together, you're probably going to want to use a lot of resources. YouTube videos, articles online, your past experience, camping, backpacking, whatever you do. So you're going to take that experience and you're going to build your list, just like you would if you're going backpacking or camping. Okay? We've reviewed it several times. We feel like we've got a full and complete list of non-specific items. What we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and break it down into categories. Okay? So take that long, comprehensive list you have, keeping it non-specific, break it into major categories. Personally, I like to start with our requirements: shelter, water, food, then add a couple other things to it. First aid and medical, hygiene and maintenance, and then a miscellaneous category. Once you've got it broken into those categories and you have everything sorted out, you're going to use those specific categories to determine if you have any weak links or any missing gear. Okay? So when you're doing that, be aware some things may not seem like they fit into a category, or they may feel like they fit into multiple categories. Okay? When you say shelter, a lot of people think your tent, your sleeping bag, that type of stuff. What you're considering is protection from the elements. So in that same category, you're going to have clothing. You're going to have fire, or ways to make fire. You're going to have your wet weather gear, tarps, possibly a space blanket, things of that nature. When it comes to food, you think food obviously, it's also going to include your cook supplies, your stove, eating utensils, stove fuel, things of that type. Some things are going to fall into multiple categories. Potentially fire. You're going to use fire for shelter from the elements. You're also going to use it to cook your food. Potentially going to use it to purify your water. So some things are going to blend across categories. Don't worry about that. Just pick a category to put it in for the time being and leave it there. That way we can take that big long list, which can be a little more difficult to look at, and break it down. And once you got it broken down, it's a lot easier to find your little chinks, your little gaps in what you're doing. Okay, so we've got the list, we've got it broken down, we've sorted through any weak spots. You're going to go ahead and move on to selecting your gear. I'm not going to cover that in depth today. We're going to make that a whole video. That's going to be part 3 coming pretty soon. So what you're going to do is you're going to start doing your research. Do plenty of research. It's better to research for several hours, days, whatever you need to do to find the right gear that fits what you need, as opposed to just kind of buy it on a whim and end up with gear that doesn't really work for you or that breaks the first time you take it out. Of course, that's going back to using your gear, but hey, you know, do the research first. You buy once, cry once. Like I said, we'll go over gear selection in a little bit later video on kind of how to pick your gear. I'm not going to be too specific there, but we're going to go over some good general guidelines. So, you've got your gear fleshed out, you've done your research. While you're doing your research, make sure that you're focusing on one item at a time. Don't try and go in and research the whole bag, because you're going to be overwhelmed. Pick something to start with. Remember, keep your bag last. But let's say if you want to research your camp stove first. Go online, do your research, find the differences in all the makes and models, what you're really looking at, and determine which one's going to be the best fit for you and your needs. The second thing that we're going to be covering today is we're going to kind of skip the gear selection. We're going to go into modularization of your gear. And what we're talking about here is how to group your gear together, or how to pack it together so things are easily accessible and so they go together in a logical way. Okay, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have your food right on the outside where you can get to it and have the stove crammed underneath. Modularization, as well as keeping it contained, generally it will help protect it and keep it from getting damaged or keep it from damaging other gear. And it's going to make it a lot easier to work in low light or a busy situation where you're trying to do things on the move, or you have somebody else digging in your bag while you're actually moving with your bag on your back, or if you're trying to do it in the dark, in the middle of a blizzard, rainstorm, whatever the case may be. So, modularization ties into building your list because you are going to break things down into your groups. This is my full kit. This is just a good cross-sectional breakdown of what we got, and it lets me demonstrate a lot of points here. So, when you get ready to modularize, what you're going to be looking for is containers of sorts, bags, boxes, whatever, to group gear together. Now, this can be as outlandish as buying $60, $70, $100 bags at a time that are waterproof and weatherproof and compressible and all that, or as simple as some household items that you got. You're going to have to really figure out what's going to be best for you, and I promise you, buying 30 of the waterproof, weatherproof, compressible bags is actually not going to be the best option. They're more expensive, you think they're the best. What you're going to run into is they're not going to meet your needs on every single occasion. Things you want to consider when buying different containers for modularization is going to be weight, obviously price, bulk, which is not the same as weight, and gear protection. Okay? So, to start off with, don't overlook what your gear comes with. Okay, some gear is going to come with its own container. My water purification system here, which is MSR, has this nifty little mesh bag. It's mesh on one side and it's got the nylon on the other. Drawstring, simple baggie. But I was able to go ahead and take this. I was able to put into it extra parts kit, the instructions manual if somebody other than me is trying to use it, my water purification droplets that we use, and I was able to seal this entire system together into an easily packable little self-contained unit here, so that if I need to pull it out, it's all together. I'm not hunting for water purification tablets, I'm not looking for the spare parts or the tube that goes with it. Everything's already together. You're going to see a lot of that with stuff like that, like your camp stoves. A lot of your shelter gear is going to come that way. This is my hammock, because I'm a hammock camper, so I like my hammock system. And each part of my hammock system over here comes with its own self-contained bag. Okay, so while we're keeping in mind that some of these bags are really good, this kind of keeps everything together. Something you may want to look at, a couple of parts may fit together really well. This is a strap system for this hammock. We undo the hammock here. We can slide this strap system right inside. Tuck it down nice and tight. Zip the whole thing together. Well, now we've got our hammock and the strap system for it all self-contained, so it's only one pack I got to pull out. Just because things come with their own containers doesn't mean that you have to use them, but that's the only container that you need to put it in. So, we've got this all put together. Here's a good one. My sleeping bag that I have, which is a Columbia Reactor Series, and it's a Sub-Zero bag. Comes with this nice little compression stuff sack that comes with it, which is extremely lightweight actually. It's fairly thin but very tough and durable, and I haven't had any problems with it. So this has been a really good stuff sack for my sleeping bag. Compressed is very tight. You can see it's not easily compressible, so it takes up a lot less room. Originally, one of my older versions I was running, I had this, which is a third-party bag. The sleeping bag in here is not as good as that one. It's a little bit more generic, but I bought this event compression sack, which is actually waterproof. This bag is much bulkier than the actual storage bag. So for the waterproofing, if I was running, say, a backpack that didn't have a rain flyer or a rain cover, this may be something that you need, because you need that protection for your sleeping bag. You need something that can keep it from getting wet, so that when you do stop and make camp, you set everything up, you're not crawling into a wet sleeping bag that's going to sap your heat, wear you out in the middle of the night, cause hypothermia, or even worse, depending on your situation. So I had to make a choice. If I was going to go with the bag that it comes with, which is non-waterproof, much less lightweight, or much more lightweight, as opposed to one that has more protection and is a little bit thicker, a little more durable bag. I decided to go with this one because I do have a rain fly, and I wanted the weights in it. Remember, weight's going to be a big importance. When I originally got my new bag, which is a very, very large bag, the only thing I could fit into my sleeping compartment was this sleeping bag. I could not fit any other gear. At this point, I can fit my sleeping bag, sleeping pad, all my hammock gear, as well as my sleeping bag liner, all into the same section in the sleeping compartment in the bottom. So, in taking up less space, creating less bulk, I'm allowed to pack my bag down a little tighter, make it a little less cumbersome, and much easier to carry over long distances. You can also look into, this is a non-compressible version basically of this. This is a Summit 13-liter bag, and I use this for clothing. And this is waterproof, because while the sleeping bag getting a little damp, packed way back at the bottom of the bag is a possibility, it's very remote. This being a little more in the main compartment, getting wet is a much more probable scenario. And also, dry clothing is going to make a huge difference. While the sleeping bag being wet can definitely cause some discomfort, and in the right circumstances could be dangerous, having wet clothing is not an option. So I did go with this waterproof Sea to Summit bag, and I have my clothes in here. The good thing about these bags is that they are very easy to determine how much stuff to put in. You see, I got a lot of room here, and what I can do is basically shove all my clothes real tight down in there, squeeze all the air out of this bag. Seal it up, roll it down here as tight as I want to get it, or as tight as I can get it. And hook the ends together. This is an aquatic rated bag, so it's marine grade. Basically take this and dunk it in water, and nothing inside is going to get wet. It's got a good liquid tight, airtight seal. Welcome to Oklahoma. It's now raining while the sun's out. So this is another option. This is a good option for clothing and stuff like that. These do run quite a bit. I mean, you're talking about a $35 to $60 bag, depending on size and brand. Now, getting down into a little bit less expensive stuff. You don't need that protection. You want a lot less bulk, and you want things that are going to group your gear together, make them easily identifiable as opposed to these opaque bags. Moving on down the scale, we do have mesh bags like this. This one is like a rubberized bag as opposed to the nylon and fabric mesh of this one. This is what I use for most of my cook gear, as well as a lot of my meals, my food for my meals, not my trail food. So you just take everything, stuff it down here. This is super lightweight because obviously it's mesh. Most of it's just holes. But I can put everything down there, grab my meals and start stuffing them in. Grab my utensils, grab my camp stove, take it, seal it up, everything's in a bag. Because it's mesh, it's easy to compress it, form it, everything so that it fits in the bag very easily. So modularizing using these different methods will cost you a little bit. I mean, that bag was maybe $8, $10 at the very most, so it's very cheap. Offers absolutely no protection, obviously, but because everything's in these self-contained bags, or it's stuff that doesn't matter if it gets really wet, that's a really good option. Now, one of the best options I've found, and that I use in absolute every bag I pack when I go camping or for a bug out ruck or anything like that, is freezer bags. Just gallon-sized freezer storage bags. They're really cheap, $3, $4 for a box. I mean, you can't get any better than this, right? Alright guys, sorry about the rain delay, but we're back. So I ended up shoving everything off to the side. When the rain hit, I decided we'd come back and we'll just make this, the modularization, kind of do a little quick and dirty rundown. So, as we were talking before, good ways to modularize and pack your bag in its sections. Included storage that comes with your equipment. Third party, there's different options. The weatherproof singles, weatherproof compressible, third party organization type solutions like this. This is a Spec Ops brand, and inside it's got a lot of organization. Really good for like a toiletry kit or possibly a first aid kit. Packing into itself, different solutions here. Like this particular cook kit, everything packs into itself, as well as it's got space in there where you could put maybe a little fold up spork, like titanium spork or something, or you could put in smaller camp stoves, even small amounts of food or spices, stuff of that nature. Moving on down to your off-the-shelf options that are not necessarily specific to outdoors gear, like mesh bags, or just any type of like laundry bag, stuff sack, something like that, which generally are going to get you less bulk but less protection, and they're just mainly for organizing and putting gear together. Down to your household items, which, like I said, I really like these gallon storage bags. Just make sure you get a good brand with a good zipper so they'll seal well. You can kind of roll them up, compress the air out, and vacuum seal them, which is definitely a throw-in and I'll always keep on me. They're really good for, like I said, keeping things that need to stay dry, like the dryer lint, which is still dry. We can still light this. Or other types of fire starting gear are really good to put in these bags because, like I said, good thing here is this looks like a bulky bag for what it is. Crack it open, compress what's inside, roll it up. Suddenly you have a very packable stowaway. This is also very good for storing clothing and things like that. You can put like a shirt, underwear, pair of socks, things in here that you really want to stay dry. Roll it up, and you could actually have multiple ones of these, and they would each be an individual change of clothes, or change of your main body facing clothes. So you can just pull it out, change the clothes real quick, throw the dirty laundry back in here, roll it back up, stick it back in there, maybe mark a little X on it so that you know it's dirty, but you have your clothing packed up nice and weatherproofed. Another really good option for them is food. We normally tend to take a lot of really quick to easy to eat trail food, you know, Nutri-Grain bars or Slim Jims or stuff like hot chocolate, things that are quick and easy to make or quick and easy just to grab and eat. But we take so much of it, you're only going to have a couple of them stuffed in your waist belt or in your pockets or in a quick easy place. The rest of it you can roll up in a bag like this, stick it in your backpack wherever you're going to store it, and then when you take a break and you stop, you can re-outfit and resupply. You can reach in, grab a few more granola bars, stick them in a couple of pockets, stick them back in your waist belt, things of that nature, and you're good to go. Like I said, they serve a lot of useful purposes. Good for a toiletry bag if you don't have something else or if you don't want to buy something else. Another thing to look at, stuff like this. This is a basic prescription bottle. So we took the prescription bottle once it was empty, and we actually loaded it up with a fire starting kit. We've got a lighter, we've got several things of matches down in here, as well as a strike pad, so we can pack that all up together. Turn it down, and you now have a waterproof bottle for a little fire starter kit. And because they're so small, you could have 3 or 4 of these and put them in 3 or 4 different locations. You could have one that's stuck in an easy to access outside pocket. You could have one, drop it down in with your camp stove, and now you have fire in multiple locations where it's easy to get to. Like I said, they're good for holding your fire starting. If you do have pills such as you know, your stomach meds, you can take them out of those blister pack packages, put them into a bottle. Just make sure if you do that, you take all the labels off, scratch them out, mark them out, whatever you do, and clearly label the bottle so it's not something that's going to be mixed up. So these are all your really good in the bag storage that's like a secondary to the bag. These are all really good options. You also can look at the on-bag options that we were about to talk about before, obviously, the sunny rainstorm hit, which are the most basic ones that don't require anything special out of the bag are tie-downs. Any bag is going to have something on it that you can tie to, whether it's just a pull handle or the shoulder straps, a waist belt, or if you go with something that's more military like Molly or backpacking that has daisy chains, you can always tie gear on. Generally, it's not a super good idea to have a lot of stuff flopping around, but things that you need to access easily or they're soft that when you tie them down, they basically form to the bag. This is a perfect option. And tie downs will allow you to also add gear to the bag if you find something en route, or if you're needing to transport items that weren't originally part of the bag, you're trying to take building materials or tools with you to different locations, you can always tie them on. And 2 of your best options are either store-bought bungee cords or military 550 cord, which, like I said, we used all the time in the Army. But 550 cord's great, it's cheap, it's easy to use. This is a 100-foot bag for less than $9, so that's always an option. You can also look at stuff that can clip onto the bag. This is a little bit bulkier, and I usually actually keep it in the bag. This is a Pelican case. It's hard, the things can't get crushed. I normally keep a lot of my pill medication in here, and I have a little place on the outside of my bag to stuff that in. But it also has a carabiner, so you could just clip it to loops, or clip it to straps or something like that. Or if you get really desperate, you can just take and like tape them to the bag, and it would just be a tear-off item. It's not really the method I would recommend. Normally tie it down or clip it down, but that's always an option as well. The other option for modularizing your bag is actually the bag itself. And like I said, we're not going to get into bag selection. That's actually probably going to be our final video in the series. But you have 2 really good options when it comes to your bag as far as modularizing, which could come into play when you're looking to buy your bag. One is add-on storage space. So this bag, obviously, like I said, it has Molly on it, which is the PALS or Molly loops. And with that, you can attach different military-style Molly pouches. This one, which is affixed outside the bag, is my first aid kit. All my first aid supplies, the emergency medical stuff, not just the stomach pills, but things that you might need really quickly, are self-contained in this little pack here on the outside of my bag, so that either I can get to it quickly or if somebody else needs to get to it quickly. It's right here, everybody knows where it's at. Another thing you can look at On this one, I have this additional little waist belt pouch, and this is normally a compass, map, a couple of little puggy baked snacks, things for like that I might need to access really quickly, so they're right here in my belt. So that's add-on storage. The other thing you're going to look at is integrated storage, which is stuff it already comes with. So this may become a factor when buying your bag, like I said, with something we'll revisit when we get into that section of the videos. But that's going to include stuff like outside pockets, like these pockets here on the outside. This one's mesh. We've got like a water bottle pocket here on the bottom. You got them on the other side. The brain, or the top of the ruck, has zippered pockets in it here where you can open up, and they've got a little puggy bait stash or whatever you need to stick in there. Some of them have a pocket underneath, and then once you get in here and open the bag up, several of them will have interior organization. So this one's got a couple of pouches on either side. It's got a couple of pouches in the very back, like a water bottle bladder. I've seen some even that on the inside of this flap, they've got a couple little pockets. So your interior organization is definitely going to play a factor in how you can modularize and how you can keep things together. Obviously, the more organization you have, the heavier the bag's going to start getting, because you have additional fabric and stitching and elastics and tie downs and stuff of that nature. But you'll have to balance that out in how you see fit, the weight versus the organizational capabilities. So that's our two major components with organizing and modularizing. You have your bag related, which is integrated, additional, add-on, and tie downs, as well as your separate from the bag organization, like stuff sacks, Ziploc bags, pill bottles. Thanks for all the support, guys. We really appreciate you sticking around watching the videos. Feel free to give us a like, subscribe, leave comments, questions, complaints, anything you want to say. We've gotten over 600 views on YouTube so far, which is a big shout out to you guys. Thanks so much. Stick around pretty soon for bug out bag video number 3, which is going to be gear selection. Again, this is Josh with Lead Farmers Tactical. Remember, guys, knowing is half the battle, the other half is violence.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.